With Bayley most likely leaving WWE soon, I feel like it's the perfect time to make this video on the simple fact that WWE has fumbled Bayley. And in today's video, I'm going to explain why. So, starting things off with my own thoughts on Bayley, in all honesty guys, she was always my favorite out of the four horsewomen. I always preferred a character over Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte. I always liked the hugger gimmick, and even when she, most of her time I liked. But really, I really enjoyed her hugger gimmick when she turned heel. I really liked that. I really like just everything about Bayley, again, except for this. But aside from that, I really enjoyed her. And then once Triple H began to take over WWE, I was super excited to see how he would book Bayley, because Bayley was one of his top dogs. So, without further ado, let's see how he did. So first off, he put Bayley in a faction with Dakota Kai and Io Sky and called it Damage Control. And this is honestly a really good faction that with a lot of great women. The only issue is that they were basically the job squad because they lost every single big event or match. Like the 6-pack with Trish, Lita, and Becky, they lost. And yet they were women's tag champs at the time. Literally, what? Hey, so quick mistake. I made no, Damage Control were not the tag champs, because while they did held it, they were not tag champs for this match, as that was Lita and Becky. Still crazy that that was actually like a tag team that won the titles. But anyways, I feel like clearing that up. Back to the video. Afterwards, Damage Control really moved to SmackDown, and honestly, there was nothing really much. Like, for the first few months, like, they were pretty forgettable. But then again, they did have some big crowning moments, like Io winning the women's title, them getting Asuka and Kairi. So either way, I would say it was still a good, like, idea, like, with, like, the choices and all that they did. Eventually, Bayley would win the Royal Rumble, which was just perfect, and then she would go into a program with Io Sky, where Io would be, where they would basically do what they did back in 2005 with Evolution and Batista, but I feel like I would prefer if the roles were reversed and Bayley was the champ and Io won the Rumble. I feel like that would have been better, but I still am happy with what we got. They then had a match at Mania for the title, obviously, but I know many people like this match. I wasn't really the biggest fan, but it was still a very solid match. At the end, Bayley ended up winning, and I was happy about that. She looks good looking like this with the title. And how does her reign go? It's seriously one of the most forgettable title reigns of all time. Because literally, who remembers this match? Please tell me. Who remembers Bayley versus Piper Niven? Like, someone literally tell me. And I feel so bad for Bayley, because she could have had so many great matches, but then she got stuck with this. Like, literally. What? Now, when she lost the title tonight, I thought the match was pretty good, but again, really nothing much. But after that, she then gets teased for a match against Rhea Ripley, which, never ended up happening. Huh. I guess it's really been going on for a long time with WWE trying to, like, book a storyline that never ended up happening. Damn. She then gets into a tag team with Valkyria, and they were about to challenge for the women's tag titles, which is interesting, especially since this was Lyra's first WrestleMania, and the first time the women's IC title was on there. But then Bayley got started up with doubt for Becky Lynch, which was a very interesting move. I say interesting because Bayley was still at 100%, like, ready to go, but they swapped out for Becky. Now, I did like what they did with Becky and Lyra, and I did feel like that was the right direction, and eventually adding Bayley to the mix was good, but then it just never really, like, clicked. Like, there's something always off about it, especially since, like, Bayley never really got payback on Becky for, like, taking it out, because yes, it was Becky that took Bayley out. Then they did a weird storyline where they began hinting that Bayley was having mental issues, where she didn't know if she wanted to be the hugger again or the role model. And honestly, I was really into it, and I've really found it interesting, and a very deep topic to talk about, but I really liked it because it was something new for Bayley, and it could have made us feel emotional for her. But instead, they literally abandoned it. Yep, they abandoned it and just went back to the tag team with Bayley and Lyra. Like, they did try to explore it, but again, it was only for a few months, and then they pretended it never happened. So, unfortunately, Bayley is another victim of a character in a story where they do something interesting at first, but then it fumbles so bad that they almost like never do it again. Sorry. Not it fumbles. It's, what was I gonna say? What I meant was it's really good, but they never, I can't even describe it because, like, I literally am getting mad at this thing right now. So, post to me, please take it away. Yeah, so what I was gonna say was that, Bayley is a victim of, like, characters who, have something where, the writers make them really interesting and really cool. Like, make a really cool idea like this, but they just don't fully commit to it. It's happened so many times, and, like, instead of, like, fully commit to it, they just went back to how she was, like, before it. It's honestly happened so many times, I'm getting sick of it, like, literally, that's why I began getting mad at the video. So, yeah, and to give you a few examples of, like, because, like, Bayley's not the only one where this applies to, where, like, she has something interesting, and they reverted back to, like, something that they had before. This happened so many times, like, in entertainment business. Like, with John Cena, like, he had the big heel Cena one, and then, he, then just reverted back to babyface with, like, barely any explanation. And that's also a big issue, is that they don't even explain it. So, like, Cena had no explanation for why he went back. Jimmy had no explanation. Remember when he turned on Woman back in 2023? He had no explanation for when he came back. Joker and Joker 2, he also had no explanation for why he went back to Arthur. Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat 11 with Dark Emperor Liu Kang, he just went back to being another goon, where, he just, like, completely flopped. And same thing happened with Woody in Toy Story 5, where, like, he had a very interesting new life in Toy Story 4, and yet they just basically reverted him back to, like, basically how he was back in Toy Story 1 with, like, not believing Buzz is capable enough to do anything. And then even in, like, very little kid shows, like, even though I hate that this is a kid show, in Sophia the First, Princess Sophia became the protector of, the, Everrealm, I believe. And then, in the Royal Magic, she literally, they just really reverted back, like, it's honestly something that really sickens me, and unfortunately Bayley's another victim of, like, a character that has, a very interesting and new growth, but then they just fumble with, like, the finishing blow. And now I'm realizing I basically used the exact same picture for Jimmy Uso when I wanted to use a different one. Oops. Much better, there we go. So I just had to make a few little adjustments. But, yeah, it's basically another example of, like, a character that has something really interesting happened with them, and then they just either retcon it or just completely forget about it. And it honestly just always annoys me that whenever this happens. And unfortunately, Bayley was another example of this moment in, like, character history. Like, it's not even that, literally, like, she had something so interesting, like, this could have been really good. But then, they just reverted back, and it honestly just sickens me. Like, imagine back in 2003 where Undertaker, like, came out. Imagine if the American Bass came out and he was like, hey guys, so, I want to go back to being the dead man because for no reason. No, they actually gave him growth and a legit reason for him to go back to being the dead man. Not here. Now it's Bayley. Nope. And she just went back to the tag team with Lyra. Something that really annoys me, but anyways, it's crazy to think that this is all post-production. But anyways, back to the video, hopefully. And then they gave us this match. Bayley versus Roxanne Perez, one of my dream matches for when Roxanne was getting called up. I was super excited and very happy for this. Like, there's so much history in this match. This could have been on a big stage like WrestleMania or something like that. and it was easily a slam dunk and a victory. Like, I was super excited. And they put it on Raw, on TV match. And this isn't the good TV matches where, like, this, like where it's an actual bang and, like, something cool happens. No. It's one of those generic TV matches that they book for no reason. I am still so mad that they did not treat this match with the level of respect that should have gotten. But, you know, maybe it could get better. Maybe Bayley and Lyra instead should win the women's tag titles, as I think that would have been a great idea. But, even then, like, it's great, it's easy, it's so pop, but even then, no! They didn't even win the tag titles. What the hell? This is literally one of the most annoying things ever. Like, they didn't even win the tag titles. Like, is this just because of the stupid zip tie incident? Some say, because if it is, that's really petty. It honestly damaged their tag team one, but I'm just gonna rapid fire. Lyra then turned on Bayley. Lyra became literally the girl from the ring, and then she took on Bayley, and then when she defeated her, they went down the steps, beat her down post match, and then yeah, that was basically and we haven't seen Bayley ever since. So I barely have any thoughts. I mean, I thought it was decent, but yeah. So, to answer the question, yes, WWE did indeed fumble Bayley so badly. Like, literally, like, it's really unbelievable that Triple H fumbled Bayley, like, this badly. And, honestly, annoys me with, like, the level of disrespect she was treated with. What do you guys think? Do you guys think WWE fumbled Bayley? Or do you think I'm wrong in that she actually was a great success in WWE? Well, mainly when Triple H took over. I'd like to hear your opinions in the comments, and as always, oh shoot, sorry about that. As always, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all later, and I'm out. Deuces, ooses, yeet.